Hello and welcome back to Europa Universalis 4. I've got another guide here for another achievement. So unfortunately the achievement seems slightly glitched out because it doesn't appear on your achievement list. But I have done the achievement League of Mayapan. So in order to do that you have to play as the Huastec up here. And actually, to be fair, I'm not entirely done on this one. Interesting. There we go. I guess it must not have saved. The game crashed right after. Anyhow, there we go. It's all done. That's what you do. I still don't know why the achievement is not registering, but I did get it. So anyway, here we are. So you have to play as the Huastec, who are that country you just saw that disappeared. And in order to form this, you need to own this province, these three provinces, and I think this one. Could be slightly wrong on that last one. Suffice to say, you need to own this area. Unfortunately, as the Huastec, you start up here, and you can't see it by the religion map mode, but you are the only Maya nation on this part of Mexico. All the other Maya are located down here. You start with 6 development. Your capital happens to be this province. I've moved it here. And you first have to reform your religion, then own those provinces in order, and westernize in order to form the League of. Well, you have to reform your religion, which is westernizing essentially. So essentially, there are 2 ways to play this achievement. There's the easy way, and then there's the harder, trickier way. The harder, trickier way, I'll just go over it, is essentially you ally yourself with these guys, the Sioux up here, however you pronounce that. They tend to be able to get an alliance, royal marriage, and then an alliance. You can usually get them on your side. And there are enough tiny little Maya nations here that sometimes if you attack them and promise these guys land, they will help you fight and win the war, and you can get a province over here and then play the game relatively normally, conquering it. Important to remember, you don't have ships, so you're going to have to march your land through all this. Now that is one strategy. It's very risky, first of all, because you have to declare an OCB war, and then you have to win one. Plus you need an ally who will not just take your land, but stick with you, even though you really don't want to give them that much land in the war. The annoying part is these guys tend to also own the land you need. So at some point you have to betray them. But that is one way to do it. That is not the way I did it this time. I discovered a couple little tricks you can pull off that help. First off, when you start the war, there's a country here. I converted it away, and there's a couple other countries here. Essentially the one that is located right up here, who of course I can't see what their name is unless I look under the history of, say, the province or something. The Chichimeca up here. These guys they don't like you. They're animist. In fact, a lot of the area up here is animist, which is really frustrating because being Maya, you're forced to either expand into Nahuatl land down here or animist land. Essentially what I did was I allied myself with the country that existed here, whose name was Guamar. I allied them, built up my army, developed my land a little bit till I had like 7 troops, so I had a larger army than the people I was fighting. Then I declared war with the help of Guamar on these guys. They usually always ally the country that exists here, Tonala. But if you outnumber them, join up with your ally, make sure to check allow friendly armies to attach to this army. They'll tend to join their army towards you if you take morale and you use the mission tree to build to force limit to get an additional 5 morale. You can usually win the war. Don't give any land to your ally, just take it all for yourself. Or, and this is what I did, I took one province, this one, and I vassalized them for the remaining 2 provinces, which once I improved the relations with, royal marriage and all that with them, I couldn't royal marriage, but they joined my war, fielded 2 to 3 units, which helped a lot early game. And then I kind of waited to the truce against my ally because they broke the alliance with me because I had, not given them land. Conquered them, and then from there proceeded to expand rapidly. Now, in order to reform the Maya religion, you need to own 20 provinces and have stability. Once you do, you will lose you will lose provinces down to 10 plus the number of reforms you have, supposedly. However, they will be released as separate countries. Now, I figured out a slight exploit to this one, and we'll see. I don't know if anyone else can replicate it, but I was able to do it. Essentially, if you convert the provinces and then you culturally convert them up here, you're the only possible Maya nation they can release in the area if it's culturally converted. As long as it's Maya and your culture, they don't seem to release it. So I was able to pass a reform and keep 18 provinces, meaning I only need to conquer 2 more. Conquered a couple land, converted it, passed a reform, still had 20 provinces, just had to stabilize and core some of the land. Oddly enough, even though it didn't release the land, it still required me to recore the land, which was kind of annoying. You needed a lot of admin points to do it, but I was able to pass like 3 reforms in a row. It was pretty ridiculous. Anyway, I conquered this area. I obviously colonized a couple provinces up there in my spare time. Helped me get to 21 time. First reform I passed, and you probably will want to do the same, is either central armories for infantry combat ability, or, and this might actually be more useful, reform the bureaucracy. Negative 20% core cost will save you tons of admin power, considering if you do it this way, you still have to core the land again. Even though you already own it, it's rather annoying. So that will save it, but if you're having trouble with war, obviously the central armories is good. For the next one, take the other. Tribal expansion is useful if you want to colonize just a little bit of land. Maybe you'll find gold, but more likely it'll get you an extra city to reform from. And then central arbitration for the unrest is useful. Unified army, 10% land maintenance. It's a nice finisher, not really needed. And then you have to wait until one of your neighbors has feudalism. So unfortunately, I was unlucky that I didn't get all my religious reforms done before New Castile formed. Therefore, I am stuck as a republic. So anyway, I got great princedom. Ideally, you want to reform into a monarchy, but it's a matter of luck to some degree. Once I was done that, I just expanded down here. The Sioux had conquered this whole area. They've actually passed 1 reform. Not that you can really tell. That's why there's so many Maya nations here. It was all one country. I fabricated a claim on their land here, attacked them, stole a couple of the provinces, and then waited and repeated, and eventually got it all. As you saw, it was just a matter of waiting for a peace treaty. Now, some might ask, how do you survive the Spanish and Portuguese, or English or French if they're being that aggressive? The trick is, when they declare war, if day 1 you go to the surrender page and you offer them essentially war reparations and as much gold as you get, that tends to be enough to buy them off. I was lucky enough that Portugal attacked me with Spain as an ally, and I was able to buy Portugal off, which meant Spain and Portugal had a treaty with me. By the second time Portugal attacked me, I had equivalent military tech and a larger army, so I just smashed Portugal's army a couple times and won that war. For first idea group, I took defensive. You'll probably want to do the same. The morale of armies will just allow you to wipe out all the other minor nations here. And as you'll notice, none of them have reformed or really regained any tech level. So it was pretty easy. I took religious next. Didn't really come in that handy other than a couple stability bonuses or stuff, mainly because I didn't have the admin power to actually get anywhere. What being a republic, I could focus either admin or military, and I focused military. So that didn't work too well, and then if I had kept going, I would have done quality probably, or quantity, just so I had a larger and stronger army. Anyhow, I'm not going to continue the game. You probably won't want to either. They're not a particularly great nation. Over the time, though, while I was conquering things, had excess monarchs points. I used this province, Drylands, low development. You could have used this province here, because it's grassland. You could develop it even higher. That worked pretty well. The only mistake I made was by moving my capital here, I moved outside of the Mexican trade node. So I wouldn't recommend that. Instead, move your capital here, develop this province, stay in the trade node for more money. Honestly, the biggest struggle was the first 5 years, and then recovering, really, to convert provinces, because the cost of conversion is rather high, like 11 gold per month. It was a little bit lower back then. Essentially, in order to convert, you're going to need a Inquisitor advisor and some stability. The other trick, and it is really worth doing if you can pull it off, is view edicts. Reinforce religious unity. Makes a huge difference. Makes it actually efficient to convert land. So convert it, culturally convert it. Pass reform, you won't lose too many provinces. Core it, reconquer, repeat. It's not particularly hard. Your biggest enemies will be if the Aztec expand. Other than that, nobody else really wants these northern provinces. They're all pretty terrible, but once you get going, you have a much larger army than anyone else in the area can field. And once you reform, obviously, you can easily conquer the rest of this area before they reform, if ever. The Maya religion is pretty good, not as good as the Nahuatl religion. You only have advisor, tolerance of the true faith, but it's pretty good. Then you just have to own those, I think it's 6 provinces. So I think it must be this one, this one, this one, and then these 3 up here. I know it's these 3 and these 2. This is the only one I'm not sure on. You have to core them, be at peace, be reformed, conform Maya. Maya don't have anything particularly unique to them. They do have the codified religious traditions once you get to a certain size, missionary strength, which was useful. That's about it. Divination, rite of passage, decrease unrest, give you some prestige. It's pretty easy. And then it's just a matter of playing a normal New World Nation game to survive the colonizers. So that's how to do League of Mayapan. Sorry to kind of ramble a bit. I was messed up at the beginning. I thought it had finished, but apparently it hadn't. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it will help you. It was really hard to start. I had to start like 10-15 times. Not as hard as Albania or the Byzantines, but right up there. So best of luck to you all. Definitely not an easy achievement. Hope to see you in another video. Bye for now.